Now to the topic of today's lecture. One effective way to resist evil is to rescue its potential victims. We are very pleased and honored to have with us today two sons of major rescuers. At the very moment, we have one son of a major rescuer here with us, and we're hoping that the second one arrives soon. These two sons are first Hiroki Sugihara, who is the son of the Japanese diplomat Chune Sugihara, and who will be today's main presenter, assuming he arrives. And the other person is Mr. John Paul Abranches, who is the son of the Portuguese diplomat Aristides de Sousa Mendes. Both of these men, and Sousa Mendes, saved thousands of lives through unauthorized and later punished use of their diplomatic positions. Joel Newberg of the Alliance for the Study of the Holocaust will introduce Mr. Abranches, and we will hope that Mr. Sugihara will be arriving as Mr. Abranches makes his presentation.
I just wanted to say that in 1940 in Europe there were thousands of diplomats in the various cities and towns all across Europe, and any one of those people had tremendous power, though not necessarily high up in any government's hierarchy. They had a tremendous amount of power to do good. Unfortunately, it was not the kind of thing that you could go on doing, as you will hear this evening. And very few people in those positions, in fact, the ones that I'm aware of are Aristides de Sousa Mendes, Mr. Sugihara, and Raoul Wallenberg. I'm sure there were others, but there were nowhere near as many as there could have been. I met John Paul Abranches now maybe 12 years ago, when his father's papers, or copies of his father's papers, were entrusted to the Holocaust Center of Northern California. I have found him and the other members of his family that I've had contact with to be people of incredible goodness and integrity. I would like to introduce John Paul Abranches, who will speak to you a little bit as his father did in France in 1940.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased and honored to share with you this evening a story of moral courage. Back in the spring of 1940, my late father, Dr. Aristides de Sousa Mendes de Abranches, was the Portuguese consul general in Bordeaux and Bayonne in the southwest of France. World War II had just begun, since September the 1st, 1939. On May 10th, 1940, the Benelux countries were invaded and France was attacked by the Nazis, separated from their parents and to their private quarters. They were fed, bathed, and given the opportunity to sleep while their papers were being processed. My late cousin Caesar, who witnessed these events on his way back to Portugal, Paris, stated that they slept in chairs, on the floor, on the rugs, and even on my father's office. They were exhausted and traumatized as they had traveled a long way and had been their loved ones, I'd seen their loved ones being killed by machine gun on the roads. As thousands of refugees came to the Portuguese consulate, the French army was called in to keep order. In each room and office, there was an armed soldier with a fixed bayonet. When my brother would return home from the university where he was lost, he needed to show his identification to the officer in charge, who would give him a military escort into his own home, as the refugees thought he was trying to obtain a visa without waiting his turn in line. Under these circumstances, my father, after consulting with the Portuguese office by wire a number of times, finally received a telegram stating, visas to clean people, no visas to Russians or Czechoslovakians, under any circumstances, no visas to Jews. My father knew these instructions were not only immoral and inhumane, but also against the Portuguese constitution and against the higher authority of God. So, with that in mind, my father chose to be with God against men rather than with men against God, and started issuing visas to anyone and everyone who needed one. Those who did not have a passport received their visas on a small piece of paper. According to Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Authority in Jerusalem, more than 30,000 people were helped, including 10,000 Jews. For this, Dr. Souza Mendes, my father, was dismissed from the diplomatic service and lost everything except it. Beginning at the end of World War II in 1945 and continuing to the present day, my father, and then my brothers and sisters, and now grandchildren, continue to petition the Portuguese government to restore the good name of Aristides de Souza Mendes. 10 years ago, I circulated a petition addressed to President Mário Soares of Portugal. Our family received an outpouring of public support. Robert Jacobitz, then executive director of the Jewish Community Relations Council of the Greater East Bay in Auckland, read the story in the Auckland Tribune. After interviewing me and verifying my story with Dr. Mordecai Paldiel, director of the Department of the Righteous at Yad Vashem, he met with his board of directors and was told to go on ahead and give all the support necessary to restore my father's good name. Anyway, at that time then, with the help, as I said, of Jewish community groups, government bodies throughout the United States, Canada, and Israel, much has been accomplished. My father has been made an honorary citizen of Israel and California. Former President Soares of Portugal posthumously awarded my two medals, the Order of Liberty and the Grand Cross of Christ. He has also apologized to the Souza Mendes family for the injustices committed by the previous administration against our father. Schools have been named after him in Portugal, and students are learning about his story. The government posthumously reinstated my father into the diplomatic corps and gave him a promotion. and stated the damages would be paid to the direct heirs. This has not yet been accomplished. There is still work to be done. My family in the United States and Portugal are very grateful for all the support we have received from private citizens as well as government officials. We are continuing our efforts to share a story of moral courage to all who will listen. Thank you for your kind attention and for spreading this story among family, friends, churches, and synagogues. I thank you very much for giving me a chance to tell you about my father. Thank you. So,
thank you very much. Would you be willing to answer any questions? Yeah.
His father was coming home from school and he had to be escorted, and I'm not clear how he got involved in being a student to be.
oh, my brother? Yeah, well, my brother was studying law at the University of Bordeaux, and when he would come home, like maybe at lunch or at the end of the day, not just enter the house because the staircase was packed with refugees out on the sidewalk too. So in order to enter, you'd tell them, I'm sorry, I'd like to go in. I live here at the consulate, and some of the refugees would say, so do we, but they would not let him through. So then you'd have to contact someone, so like the police there, to allow him to come through, and then you'd be escorted upstairs. You would be escorted upstairs to go have lunch or just go home and spend the evening there with the rest of the family. And once he was in there, you'd be assisting my mother too and my father to make the refugees comfortable and processing visas.
I'm not sure it was clear to everybody that it was his brother who was the law student at the time, not his father. His father was the consul general, right?
Yeah.
Well, our main speaker for today, Mr. Sugihara, has now arrived, and his formal introduction will be made by, well, thank you very much
Thank you
again,
very much.
Mr. Abranches. Yes, thank you.
Long ago, I might add. As board member of the Sonoma County chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League, I am pleased to be able to introduce to you this afternoon's speaker. The Japanese American Citizens League has long been an advocate for education of Japanese American history and civil and human rights. It is especially exciting to co-sponsor this program with the Holocaust Study Center because of the unique parallel of events that this story presents. In the late 1930s and early 40s, while the Japanese and the Japanese Americans were dealing with prejudice and racism in the United States, half a world away, a Japanese diplomat was faced with changing the course of people's lives, going prejudice and racism in Lithuania. You're about to hear a compelling story of tremendous courage, strength to complete a true act of altruism. The rescue of over 6,000 Jews from Lithuania by Chune Sugihara. I'm glad to see you all here this afternoon because I hope you will become part of what I would term the ripped. Please take what you learned this afternoon and share it with an acquaintance, with friends, colleagues. Encourage them to view the photo exhibit that Mr. Beard has been kind to point out is in the library. And of course, I highly recommend reading the book, Visas for Life, that was written by Chune's wife, Yukiko, and translated by his son, Hiroki. At this point, is Anne Akabori present? I wanted to really quickly introduce her. Okay. And of course, the book will be available at the reception afterwards. With that, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the personified stone speak that started the ripple, Mr. Hiroki Sugihara.
I'm sorry I got lost. Had a bad navigator and we ended up in Sonoma Cheese Factory. It took us almost 1 hour. I'm glad that John Paul was go ahead and do some of his talk. I've been doing a lot of speeches and lectures and to all the colleges, universities, and this is one of the closest. I have to tell my story before that I was a student here between 1957 and 59, attending City College in Sacramento, way back. And I really liked California, and since then I always wanted to come back to California. So now I'm here, and I didn't expect in my whole life to do speech and lectures going to the because I was a student attending lectures. Today, I just had a notice yesterday that we have to start 4 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock what was planned. But I see so many people here, and I wonder how many people will be here. I'm very glad that you're here. And I'll do as much as I can do, and I will just go ahead and tell one of the very important part of my father's decision instead of doing the regular speech. And then you can watch the video. This video was created by Japanese television in 1992, and they televised nationwide. It has a English subtitle, so you will not get lost. But some of the English translations may not be suitable because, the Japanese, they translate it. But you will see the whole story through the TV, so I don't think I have to explain you. Instead, after I would answer to your questions to your questions. So I would like to explain you what kind of a situation and what kind of a determination he was confronting in 1940 when all the refugees came to his gate and asked for the visas. The visas are not the one you use at the Safeway or Macy's. This is a visa that you will be using going through the countries. And also, it was very difficult for him because of the situation that he had in 1940. That was about 5 days before the German and Italy and Japan was going into do their 3-country apartheid pact. And so he knew that he really cannot go ahead and just issue visas to these people. He used to do a couple of them a day to issue to the sightseeing going to Japan or the tourists or the business people. Was completely different. That 200, 300 surrounded the consulate one day in 1940 July. So it took him about 3 days to wire his main office, and he knew that they would refuse. But according to his decision, the first thing that he really wanted to follow was his conscience and his mind, that he has to follow his belief that the humanity comes first. As you know, in those days, Japan was completely with Germany and Italy. So he was going against his government. When you go against the Japanese government, it means that you are committing suicide or totally giving up your life or career. So one of the most commonly asked questions during my speaking engagement has been, why did my father risk his life and career to save people whom he had no previous connection or relationship with? Before I can begin to answer this question, I need to clarify the assumption that he had had no previous relationship with Jews is not a true one. The fact is that he did have connection with Jewish people prior to his decision to issue the visas. He made his first contact when he attended Harbin University on a national scholarship. Based in London, comprised of Jewish investors, contributed toward the financing of the war against Russia, which finally resulted in the defeat of the Russians by Japan for the territory in Manchuria, later called Manchukuo. And this syndicate is Schiff family and Rothschild. Chune understood the significance of this Japanese connection. Later, when he was assigned to his post in Kaunas, Lithuania, he became well acquainted with Jewish people of that city and attended many of their social functions. In fact, he became very good friends with several leaders of the Jewish community, where he spent many stimulating hours discussing politics. Stories of Jewish people, their long history of persecutions, and about how the Jews were able to endure all of those hardships throughout their long history. Chune was very fascinated by all this new information because knowledge about Jewish people was particularly non-existent in Japan. As you are all well aware, I have just been addressing my father's relationship with Jews until the time when he made the decision to issue visas. Now, the answer to the basic question as to why he made this decision to help is both a simple one as well as one based on more complicated issues. The basic and simple explanation is best answered by, from my father's, I quote, "It was just the right thing to do." Because he was a very sensitive man with highly developed humanistic values. His only alternative would be to help those in need. He would have helped them regardless of their race, political, or religious affiliations, because he truly believed that despite superficial differences, people were more basically alike than different. He also believed that all people belonged to one great family of man and that we should always be there to help one another. His tendency to help those in need became evident early in his life. Upon beginning his career in the foreign ministry in Manchuria, he was confronted with a decision to either help or ignore pleas of help from desperate Chinese and Korean farmers due to a devastating flood. Despite the orders of his military government to ignore their pleas, he went against those orders in order to help them. Soon after that incident, upon witnessing the cruel and inhumane treatment of the Chinese by the Japanese military policies, he resigned from a high position in the foreign ministry in protest to these inhumane policies. It is now clear that my father's actions were always based upon his humanitarian belief that one must always help his fellow man when in need. This basic honest answer as to why he did what he did can be further expanded upon on another level, a level based upon his point of view as a career diplomat. A career diplomat who should. Here we begin to see Chune Sugihara as a visionary. Beginning with his experiences from Harbin to Kaunas, his knowledge and understanding of the Jewish people grew and evolved into a direction which he explains in one, the rare document which exists today. He wrote his explanation for his decision. He stated that he understood the Jewish people to be a strong and unique people due to their long sufferings and persecutions. Their worldwide influence in science, politics, economics could not be denied. It was time that people should recognize their great contributions, and it was clearly, without doubt, the time for Jews to live without fear of persecution. Chune further explained that when he saw the refugees at his gate in Kaunas, he realized at that moment that this was a God-given opportunity for him as a representative of his country to assert truly great diplomacy and leadership by showing them that ultimately a stand for human rights must be taken. He realized that Japan had the opportunity to blaze a new path or direction of leadership for the future by helping the refugees. To help the Jews was the only choice, the only humane and just step to take, rather than to be that this decision would blaze a new direction for the future of the world. As we can now clearly see, it is evident that Chune's decision was motivated by both a personal one as well as a professional one. That is, he was personally motivated by his humanitarian beliefs and professionally motivated, as he wrote in his memoir, which we found in his note. I don't know if I answered to your curiosity, but now I want to show the video if it's possible. Is it ready?
I noticed that part one is 40 minutes and part two is 25 minutes. Can you just do part one?
Yeah, okay. That's why I said it's 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Due to the time limit, I think we will show the part one today. It is about 40 minutes. And this tells the story until
Father, sometimes called Japanese version of Shindra. Shindra, you know. Shindra. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Okay, maybe you can just, now it's working.
Okay. Well, you're not so comfortable when you call him Schindler because also Schindler was a good man to save many lives, but the motivation first was different. Or somehow Schindler's story helped the Sugihara story to come out. So it's not too bad feeling, but sometimes it's very embarrassing to be compared as the same person. We are trying to make a movie now, documentary film for the TV and also feature film. And then we can call German Sugihara.
Speak up a little bit.
I've been doing the studies with this course, and there seems to be a thread of a pattern in that there's been, for the survivors themselves, there's been a state of denial for 30 years. It's only the past 10 years that the stories are really starting to be told, and I wonder when did you start telling your father's story, and if it follows the same 30 to 50 year.
Yeah, it's okay, and it's going to
We
go.
could just answer this one question.
Okay.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Will you?
Yeah. Okay. The student said she had been.
You don't go out just and brag what he did. It's really awful, and you don't get nowhere just telling the story what you did. Especially that he was like on a blacklist, that he was fired in a way, which is called forced resignation. And after the war, what we received was one of our saddest thing happened, which we lost our youngest brother when we came back, and he lost his job, and next year we lost our auntie. So we thought that this is a sacrifice that we had to make or go through because of what he did, instead of what he did good. Was in Japanese way that we always think that when we help people or we will stand for them, we have to sacrifice ourselves. In my case, I started just going around to talk this story about a year and a half in the United States. I was also reluctant to go to the places and talk, but since all the survivors had the same problem because they went more severe experiences, and as long as I said I have to help them because this is, in a way, it's a bright side of the story in the Holocaust, saving people. And also I wanted to have more younger and younger people know this fact that one man can make a difference. So this is my motivation that I'm doing now.
月1日午前5時45分、ナチスドイツは突如ポーランドに侵入した。5月3日、イギリス国南部はドイツに対して宣戦を布告、第二次世界大戦が始まった。
なんですって？それで外務省はお兄様にスパイしろっていうようなものじゃないですか。節子。
スパイじゃなくて情報活動。
でもリトアニアに行ってドイツにすでの情報探るだなんてスパイしろってことと同じじゃない。スパイと情報活動は同じじゃないわ。ほっぺちゃんまだ3歳。ちいちゃんも誕生日迎えたばかりなんだよ。節子ね、いつも悪いと思ってるわ。せっかくから生まれちゃってちいちゃくなってかわいそう。でも海に向かって開けてるからきっといいんではあるんでしょうね。
リトアニアはラトビア、エストニアとともにバルト海に面し三国と呼ばれている。しかしリトアニアは隣のポーランドやロシアに何回となく併合されて、ようやく独立したのは第一次世界大戦が終わった直後、1918年のことであった。20世紀ロシアでは政治の失敗をユダヤ人の責任であるとして大虐殺を受け、ナチスドイツは第二次大戦の敗戦と立派なユダヤ人社会が彼らはその道のままパレスチナに行動する難民たちの旅の資金を集め、全世界のユダヤ人たちに協力を求めていた。1940年、ヨーロッパからパレスチナへの3つのルートは戦争のため全て閉鎖され、リトアニアには行く当てのない難民たちが次第に増えていった。 Здравствуйте. Sugihara, заместитель консула Японии. Меня зовут Соломатин. Я еврей. Юрист Варшавы. А эти 4 тоже евреи. Je suis Batman. Меня зовут Золикан Антоновский. I'm Yoshua Nishiki. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Слушаю вас. Ваше превосходительство. Национальность Польши посчастливилось нам спасти от ликвидации и тяжело мы добирались до Каунаса. We moved for days with a little food and a little money, and the rain and wind. If we cannot escape, we will surely be caught and killed by the Gestapo. Вот эти визы. Ее превосходительство на Тангутова, голландский консул Англии на Курасау. Curaçao? Yeah. It's a Dutch island in the South American Sea. It's a tiny island, so it should be on door. Я открытый. Собирается обсечь новый проективный акт между Японией, Германией и Италией. Видать подбитый на данный момент. Серьезно победить японо-германским отношениям. Игры второй движение, чтобы попасть в Японию. Вам нужно приехать героизмом через Сибирь. Выдавайте статью советское правительство. Вам даст туда разрешение. Я это знаю, но польская граница закрыта. А единственный способ, как можно прожить, и уехать в Курасау. Your Excellency, please help us. チウネは本国外務省へ行くあてのないユダヤ難民たちに日本への通過ビザを発行したいと暗号電報を受けた。 Принимаю к сведению ваши требования и передам их моим правительствам. Wstęp na teren konsulatu bez zezwolenia jest równoważny z nielegalnym wkroczeniem na teren Japonii. My prosili rząd japoński o wizy dla was. Dziękuję. Nie możemy naleźć przepisów prawu. 去してベルリンへ行けと。
転勤命令ですか？
ああ、ソ連からの退去命令で他の軍の確かなものに残っていない。だから余計本国はうるさいんだ。
じゃああの人たち置いてけって言うんですか？
こうなったら松岡外務大臣に直訴するしかない。 も Приглашены лишние. Ну, и у меня к вам просьба, господин Степан Сугихара. Вы точно уедете отсюда до конца августа? Да, точно. Прекрасно. Ваш адрес, откровенно говоря, облегчил нас всех. Вы слишком хорошо знаете Россию и Турцию. Я, Sugihara, заместитель консуля Японии. Сейчас начнем дебаты про некоторые Библии в Японии. За хвилю, Его Экселленция, защищать Библии! 首と申します。君か、もっと順番は早くてもよかったんだ。Sugihara. How do you read your name? Sugihara Chune. Sugihara Chune. Chune. いや、日本語の出しは君にも発音しにくかったら。そう、read. 先方杉原。先方杉原。先方杉原。先方だ。言います。先方杉原。先方杉原。先方杉原。先方杉原。先方杉原。
「
日後、ヒトラーはベルリンの東方艦艇プラモでございます。8月、広島長崎への原爆投下、ソ連軍の参戦により昭和20年8月15日、日本はついにポツダム宣言を受諾し、第二次世界大戦は幕。
That is the end of part one. So, Carol?
Thank you very much. We wanted to announce to you that there is more to the movie, and it will be presented by KRCB Channel 22, and that is because we were able to get funding from PG&E. And I would quickly like to introduce Tamiya Dachi, who's a representative of PG&E, who was able to very graciously present our proposal, grant proposal, to be able to have the video shown here in the States. And so I want you to all keep your eye out for the station announcement for when that will be. And also the Anne Akabori, who is from Educom, as well as Hiroki Sugihara and his brother Chiaki, which I would like for him to.
Yes, please.
Before that, I would like to explain that you saw little children in a TV. The eldest was me, and the second was him. I wanted to be sure that you don't miss those kids. And also, these are the books, and that TV was based on this. And our documentary film and also the future film will be mainly based on these books. And we have children's book and Visas for Life book.
So, yes, please.
I just wanted to say I can see why you say that there's a difference between your father and Schindler after seeing that film. And I also wanted to ask, is he still alive? Has he died? Can you just a bit about...
The question is whether Chune Sugihara is still alive, or what is the current situation?
He was born in 1900, July 1st, at the beginning of the century. And he died at his age of 86, 1986, July 31st.
And your mother?
My mother is still alive. And she lives in Kamakura. If you know Japan, it's a nice place by the sea. And she's very energetic. She goes around in Japan and does a lot of speeches. And she's supposed to be in Washington, D.C. This coming November 21st, because in Washington Holocaust National Museum, they are planning to have a Kaunaskero with Sugihara wall, and she will be for the opening. And also she is nominated now at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial to hopefully that she will receive the same Righteous Among the Nation.
Virgil Miller?
What were the consequences to your father and to your family as a result of the issuing of the visa?
Did you all understand the question is, what were the consequences to Mr. Sugihara's father and to the family from the issuing of the visas?
The consequences, you mean the result? Yes. Further to us family, yes. When we came back, actually after Kaunas, we went to Berlin, and then to wait for his new assignment. Somehow they didn't question him, as you saw it in the movie. So he, and also because he was very precious for them, because he was #1 speaker in Russian language and German and English. So they needed him during the war. So we were sent to Czechoslovakia in Prague, in Praha. And then from there we went to Königsberg, which is now Kaliningrad. And then from there, Romania. The war ended 1945. Russian came into the Romania, and we were captured by the Romanian because Japan lost the war in the Pacific at the same time. And then we had to go to Russian camp, which is a internment camp with German soldiers. And we spent a year and a half, and then we came back on a Siberian, exactly how the refugees took the train. But in our case, it took us 4 months during the winter time, which was very severe. 1947, April, we returned to Japan. When he reported to the office in June, they said, was this in the TV? No, it's part 2. The deputy foreign minister told him to resign. And he asked why, because of course he had some kind of a feeling that he will be fired because of that. But the government changed, and he thought this is a new government with a more democratic way of operating. So he questioned why, and they told him that it is because of the disobedience what happened in Lithuania. So he had to resign, and he had to find a new job. After the war was very difficult, even for the high position person, because they never gave him any recommendation to go to any place to find a job. Usually what they do is to recommend somebody when they retire, but in his case was different. So his time finding a job, so one time he went to sell the light bulbs, and he bought so many light bulbs and ended up not selling any piece because he could not ask going from door to door. So for the next 5 years, we ended up with 500 light bulbs. We didn't have to buy those. And also, I think you saw this scene that we lost the number 3 son, Hiroki. And then we lost our auntie. So it was very difficult for us, even economically, mentally. So we never talked about this incident until 1968, when that person who was at the station, he said, "We never forget about you." He came back to Japan as an Israeli diplomat to find him, and found 1968, 28 years after. So until then, he didn't know if they were survived, but he said that was the most rewarding meeting or news or information or whatever he can, because he didn't know about the refugees, what happened to them, until 1968.
I'm sorry that we're out of time. Before we break up, I would like to leave you with what for me was the most powerful and simple statement from that story. And that was, if you want to resist evil, when you see people in trouble, you have to help. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Sugihara, for your presence here today. It's been a great honor, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. And is one more person in behind. Eric Solf is the person who curated our photograph, and he has very short message.
As you know, as you saw in the film, Sugihara was forced to resign from the foreign ministry, and to this day the Japanese government has not reinstated him on the rolls of the Japanese foreign ministry. So we are asking you to sign a petition, which we'll be submitting the end of this year to the Japanese foreign ministry, asking the Japanese government to honor him, to reinstate him and his wife for the actions they did for saving the second largest group of Jews in the Holocaust. Also, we have Hiroki's and his family's story here in the lobby. We ask you to buy this. This supports the family. This supports the work that we're doing. We have 3 traveling exhibits. We're traveling all over the country. And we'll be showing this exhibit in the United Nations in the fall in the Wiesenthal Museum in the summer. So if you see your way clear, this can be signed by Hiroki, the story of his mother. It's very well written, and again, it helps supports what we do. And we have the story of Hiroki as a little boy, as a 5-year-old boy, witnessing his father's action in Kaunas. So if you like, Hiroki will sign. We thank you for coming here. Thank you for supporting the family, and for John Paul for coming all the way from Mesa, Arizona. Thanks a lot.
So the books are on sale right out in the lobby. Thank you very much for coming today.